Hello all. I believe that you are listening to me and seeing me. This is Masato Okumura from IDB Lab. Thank you very much for joining this session, and also we truly appreciate your interest in this challenge of silver economy, which we believe is a very important and relevant topic for the region of Latin America and the Caribbean. And this is the first time we are organizing this kind of challenge with this topic. So we appreciate your participation today. This is an informative session mainly for the application. Hope you can get the necessary information for your application. And we'll cover main topics briefly with four of us, including me. And then we will be accepting receiving questions through Q&A button you have on the screen, and we'll try to answer as many questions as possible after our intervention. So thank you again, and Anna will start the first part of the presentation. Anna, go ahead.
Thank you, Masato. Good morning to everyone. It's a pleasure for our team to be here today presenting our new challenge. So I will go straight forward to the topic, so we have enough room for the Q&A. So please, can you change to the next one? As you know, I mean, the IDB Lab, what we do at the IDB Lab is drive innovation for inclusion in Latin America and the Caribbean. And this is our purpose, and the most important thing that moves us forward to work every day and to have partners like you all over the region. Next, please. We started, I would say, 2019 to study this very interesting topic, which is silver economy. As you know, Latin America is thought to be a very young region, and that's something that we have always been focusing, but we have started to see in countries like Uruguay, Costa Rica, some parts of Argentina, an increased number of the older populations. So that started, I mean, like countries like mine, Uruguay, we have almost 20% of the population over 60. And that started to in a way to call our attention, and we decided together with other part of the IDB group to study this phenomenon. And we realized that aging is not only a great opportunity in terms of economics, but also for innovation, entrepreneurship, and inclusion. And that's the reason why we published our first publication that you can see on the left side of your screen. And we moved forward this year, and we started focusing on who the actors in Latin America and the Caribbean are, and what kind of things they are doing in terms of a value proposition for the elderly. Next, please. So that's why we are here, because as you have seen before, I mean, in that mapping, we found a different type of actors working on this, and we think this is some kind of a new strategic new area where as the IDB Lab we should start focusing. So let me talk a little bit more about the Innovation for Inclusion Challenge. Next, please. What we would like to do is, first of all, identify innovative solutions in all 26 countries, mostly focusing on poor and vulnerable aging population. And what we also want to do is, beyond these innovative solutions, we think we have a very good opportunity to create an ecosystem or a community that we know is out there. We know some of the actors, but we don't know them all. So we are also going to promote not only obviously, I mean, looking for new great ideas that will challenge that will focus on solving problems that the elderly people have. But on the other hand, we want to create a community of problem solvers, of innovators, of actors, of NGOs, of startups, of accelerators that are interested in this market. Next, please. These are the 5 focus area that we are looking for in this challenge. And as you can see, some of them are a little bit more traditional, like the long-term care or healthcare, but we also are looking for innovations in terms of financial services and products, in employment and training, housing, transport, and public spaces, which we know when because we live in the region that there is a lack of when cities were built, they were not designed for an aging population. And also we would like to work on what we call acceleration and ecosystem building. So as you see in this slide, there is I would say like a huge possibility of applicants, and these kind of applicants for the challenge are the one that we want to build a community on. So we know financial services. I'm gonna tell you an example, right? I have a friend who, she's 78. As you know, last year due to COVID, most banks have been, have worked virtually, right? So you have to think on a user experience for someone that is 78 and probably is not so familiar to technology, to apps, and probably she doesn't trust on what she doesn't see. So these are the type of innovations that we are looking for. So as you see, this is mainstreaming. This is not just about the hard side of the silver economy. I mean, regarding long-term care, healthcare, but we also seek or pensions, but we also seek on solutions on different type of areas. So very pleased to be here with you, and I will pass the word to Masato. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. So as many of you might have seen, we have 2 categories for this challenge. The category A is for financial support, which is like a traditional category for any challenges, and the selected organizations can get the financing as an IDB lab project. And the second category, category B, is for honorable mention, which is not for financial support, but will give you a kind of recognition as a potential solution for the region. So for the category A, who can apply? If you are from one of the 26 IDB's borrowing countries of Latin America and the Caribbean, you can apply. Or if you are from 22 non-borrowing countries that are mainly in Europe, Asia, and Northern America, you can also apply always when you are in partnership with some local organizations. And what you get is financing, but precisely speaking here, what you get will be something we call project eligibility. So after the selection, we'll do a thorough due diligence and detailed design to get the final approval, which come after the challenge. But so you will get something called project eligibility, and we'll design the project in detail together. And also you will have many opportunities to present your solutions models in the community that Anna has mentioned that we want to create with all of you. And the second category, honorable mention, very important, this is only for the actors outside the region, region meaning Latin America and the Caribbean. So the idea is to, considering this topic, silver economy and aging, we believe that we need to learn, incorporate solutions from other countries, other regions where the topic of aging is more advanced, such as Europe or some countries in Asia. But many of the startups of those areas do not necessarily have a local presence or partners, but we want to incorporate these solutions. So the idea is for them to apply for this category, and we can give you some kind of recognition. And later that will serve you to connect with local partners, and it might be a good business opportunity. And also some of them could be a good seeds for the future projects of IDB Lab or IDB. Next, please. And now I'll explain more in detail about category A. So the principal award, financial support. We have 3 financial instruments for this challenge. The first one is contingent recovery financing, and the amount is 300K to 750K. This amount you see here is about IDB lab support, and most likely you saw it, but in all of the cases, we need the counterpart financing. Well, actually, let me tell you again. For the contingent recovery financing and non-reimbursable grant, we need the counterpart financing. And also we have loan, which is has a larger range of 750K and 2 million. In this case, counterpart amount is preferable, but not indispensable. And we will explain a little bit more in detail about contingency recovery financing later. Please go ahead. Next page. Yeah, thank you. The evaluation criteria for the category A. So the first thing, as Anna mentioned, IDB Lab is a laboratory of innovation, and the idea is to identify and try pilot new innovative solutions for the region. So a level of innovation is very important. We evaluate it very seriously. And one question that we have received from several of you is that how do we define innovation? If it's innovative for the country that you are trying to implement a project, we can consider it innovative. It can be something which has been already implemented. For example, in other countries in the region or outside the region, still it can be considered as innovative. And the second one, also very important, our mission is to improve the lives of poor and vulnerable population in the region, and we need to see the social and economic impact for this population. And this is important because we know that there are many solutions and business models that are very potential for a very rich sector of the older population. And as a business, that is very good, but for us to finance, we want to see social and economic impact for poor and vulnerable population within the aging population. And 3 and 4, potential for scale or replication. That is important because our idea is to pilot some new solution or model. And if it works well, the idea is for it to be scaled or replicated within the country or outside the country. That's the idea. So we want to see the potential and the path for the scale and replication. And related to that, the model should have kind of financial sustainability or growth potential. And 5 and 6 is talking about the feasibility. 5, technical capacity of the applicants or organizations is something we we need to analyze. And the sixth one is viability of execution, which is more like the external aspects. What are the risks that you see and mitigation that you are preparing, you are considering? That's how we are dividing 5 and 6. So these are 6 things we evaluate in the time of evaluation selection. Next, please. So how to apply to category A? There's an online platform. You can access it through the website of the challenge. There's a button called apply, and it will bring you to a UNoodle platform, and you have to prepare an online pitch and budget proposal in an Excel format. Also, you have to upload required documents, written evidence of counterpart resources, proof of legal constitution, and also copies of annual financial statement for the last 2 years, prepared for an external auditor. And we've received some comments about this point. If you do not have audited financial statements, can you apply or not? Please apply, and please make sure to leave a comment that you will, once you are selected, you will prepare these audited financial statements. And another related question was, if your institution is very new, your company is very new, and you do not have financial statements of the last couple of years, you can still apply, but you might not satisfy our expectation about how you can show your capacity to implement a project. But if we see a huge value about the project or ideas, it might be selected, so you can apply. And another idea is to apply with some other institution, NGOs, or other companies or other public agencies that has track records and can be the principal applicants. That's another idea. Please go to the next slide. Okay, let me cover a couple of questions that we have received. Counterpart funding, how is it calculated? So the amount we have shown in a couple of slides before was the amount that we support as IDB Lab, and with the counterpart that will be 100%. So that means the counterpart has to be 50% or more, and among that 50% of counterpart funding resources, more than 50% of the 50% should be in cash, and the rest can be in kind. And what is cash contribution? Basically, financial resources that contribute to the project, and they should be new and exclusively for that project. Having said that, if some costs are new and exclusive, it can be considered as a cash contribution, and these things can be will be discussed on a case-by-case basis. The other thing in kind is contribution of resources that you may have already, spaces or machines, or maybe some salary of the people that already you have. Those things can be considered as in kind, and both cash and in kind contributions can come from directly from you or from your partners as well. Next, please. So the contingent recovery financing, which is maybe the most complicated one. In general, it is applied to models that have revenue generating potential, and mostly for profit companies, for profit organizations like startups or corporations. And before the approval and sign of the contract, we'll discuss some conditions that trigger the recovery of the financing. Mainly, we will use sales amount or gross margin, etc. In some cases, we do use, for example, number of members of that model or participants in some kind of platform of these things. And if the business goes well in a certain period of time that it will be discussed and fixed, and touch that line, you will have to start returning some part or entire part of our contribution. That's how it works. And the condition, the detail of the condition will be discussed and set before the signing of the contract. Next, please. So the amount which we have shown is referential, and the question is it possible to apply with less amount? Yes, so the range is referential. You can apply with less amount as long as you satisfy all the other requirements and criteria. Having said that, the reference amounts, we have defined that reference amounts considering our expectations about the maturity and scale potential of the model. So in order for you to apply and get selected with less amount, the model should have really strong aspect of innovation and impact and potential of scale and these things. But yes, you can apply. Next, please. So public organizations. Can public organizations or governments themselves apply for the challenge? Yes. First, the challenge is open to public agencies that promotes innovations. And in terms of governments itself, could be national government or local governments. It is possible, but IDB Lab will work with governments directly in a very exceptional cases when there's a strong justification that there's no other actors that can satisfy this role. But this is potential, and any public organization can apply for this challenge. Next, please. Okay, let's go to the category B. So what you get is honorable mention, recognition, and we'll disseminate that recognition in various channels. And also we'll try to have opportunities for you to showcase solutions within IDB Labs community and flagship events, where some of maybe the participants of today or other actors will be listening about your solution. And again, this category B is open only for the actors outside the Latin America and the Caribbean region. Next, please. So evaluation criteria is similar to the category A, but some differences. So level of innovation, level of impact, and also potential for scale are the same, but 4 and 5 are different. We want to see the evidence of impact achieved already outside the region. It could be Asia, could be Europe, could be Northern America. And also we want to see kind of readiness, willingness for you to replicate and expand the model in Latin America and the Caribbean. So that's how we will evaluate category B. Next, please. And how to apply to category B. The same platform, you only choose category B in the online platform. And you also have to prepare a kind of online pitch and upload. You have to upload required documents that are slightly different, written proof of legal constitution and incorporation, and organizational presentation, very short presentation, please, but about the solution, and some maximum 2 minutes video showcasing the solution that ideally, or you should prepare kind of URL to put the video. Next, please. So one question that I've talked already, this category is only for the actors outside region. So organizations from Latin America and the Caribbean cannot apply for this category. Next, please. Okay, I'll pass the microphone to Monica so that she can explain some detail and hints about the application. Monica,
Thank you, Masato. So just wanted to share some tips on how to prepare your application. So if you go to the frequently asked questions section on question number 15, we provided PDF versions of the actual application so that you know what information we will be asking you to fill out on the online application. So depending whether you are category A or category B, please select that corresponding PDF. And then as you can see, this is kind of a print screen of the questions. So we recommend, to work on a Word document, because sometimes in an online version, connectivity in some of our countries might not be the best. So that's why, you can also work offline in a Word document, but remember to complete the online application through the Unoodle platform. So now that you have an idea and maybe you see yourself that you are eligible to apply for this challenge, you go to the landing page of the challenge and then click on the apply button. And once you apply on click on the apply button, you will be directed to Unoodle. And maybe some of you might already have an account. Mostly for you might be the first time. So you will be required to create an account. And you'll need your name, last name, email, and then create a password. So for the password, we encourage you to have a combination of at least one number and one character. And once you have select the terms and conditions and the CAPTCHA. So now that you already created an account on Unoodle, you will be directed to the screen where you will be able to create a new application. So you click on that, and then you will be guided to the online form, and then you will be able to submit all the required information. So for category A applicants, as Masato shared earlier, you will be required to upload a budget proposal, and we have a template for that. So you click on that on the document, and then you will be downloading this Excel format template. And please make sure to put all the budget, and then also click on the type of financing that you will be asking for. And once you fill out the budget, you can save it in your computer, and then you can upload it in your application form. You just click on the browse and then find where you save it on your computer and then upload it. And then you will also, as Masato shared earlier, you'll be asked to upload all the required documentation, the proof of the legal constitution, and all these documents. Please remember that there's a size capacity of 10 MB to be able to upload them in the system. And for category B, this will only be required to upload the documents, not the budget. And for the URL format, please remember to make sure that it's not password protected, so that at the time of the evaluation, we're able to have access to the video. And once you complete all the information, you will see on your screen that you have 100% completed of the application. And then to be able to submit successfully your application, you will have to do submit application. Please remember to do that, because sometimes people just fill it in and think that they already have everything, but please, please, please click on submit application. So once you submit your application, the system will tell you that you successfully submitted it. And then the email that you provided in your Unoodle account will be the main email in which we will be communicating, all the updates of the challenge. And once you submit it, you will also receive a confirmation email, regarding that you successfully submitted, and then you'll have the link to your application. And in the dashboard of the UNoodle, you'll see the status of your application as submitted. So let's say that you submitted the application and there is still time before the closing, but you forgot that there's a typo, or that maybe you didn't fill out the application, or you missed some information to share. So you can always go back and edit your submission. So to do that, you select on the proposal and then click on unsubmit application. So once you unsubmit application, you will be able to edit all the form. But please remember that once you make all your changes, again, submit your application to ensure that it's going to be included in the evaluation. So you can do this as much as you want, but please do it before July 31st. That it's when the challenge ends. And sometimes people, they're new to the UNoodle platform and they don't know, and you have like 3 drafts. So you can always delete applications so that you know that the one that you have on the system is the one that you're working for. So there's the little button on the 3 periods here, and then you can click on it and then it'll say delete application. But this is just in case you have many drafts created in UNoodle. So next, I'll pass it to my colleague, Dora.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Dora here. I'm going to talk to you now about the timeline, which is very important in any open innovation call. So the timeline, as you all know, this challenge was launched back in June the 16th. And we are now going through these information sessions, and we've done a couple of events also to promote the challenge. But please be mindful of the submission deadline, which is July the 31st at midnight. So you have 11 days to complete your application, and just be mindful that you should not wait until the very last minute to do this. Don't just wait until the very last day. As Monica was telling us, you can access the UNoodle platform beforehand. You can create a draft and you can work around it for a few days, navigate the system. If you feel like you're not 100% sure, go to the frequently asked question number 15, look at the PDF format of what is required, check it out, make sure that you have everything. Just don't wait until the last minute to submit your application, because you know that you need to upload a few documents. Sometimes systems are, a little, tricky. So just make sure that you give yourself enough time for your submission. So what happens after you've submitted your application, right? It's August the 1st. What happens? What happens is that internally inside IDB Lab, with all the silver economy specialists that are involved in this initiative, we will be evaluating all the proposals received. And we don't know how many we are going to receive, but we have given ourselves a couple of months to go through this evaluation process, which includes also a due diligence process, meaning once we look at those at the proposals, we will establish a system in which we will have some evaluators look at them in a different instances until we finally go and provide and conduct this due diligence with the top scored, the short list of evaluations. All this towards announcing the results of the challenge. And we are aiming to do this on October the 1st, which happens to be the International Day of Older Persons. And once we do this, once we announce the results and we agree with the selected applicants, the terms and conditions moving forward, then internally we will create a team of specialists to help those selected applicants work on the design of the eventual development project that we are aiming to co-create together. Next. So please remember to go to the landing page where we have all the information. And in that landing page, you will find a link to the guidelines. That is the most important document that you need to review in order to apply. That document contains all the details of, what are the categories that you're applying to, the types of financing that Masato explained before, the requirements in terms of documents that you need to upload, the precise and very detailed explanation of the evaluation criteria. The selection process that I mentioned before is clearly detailed and explained in those guidelines, as well as, the timeline, and also some disclaimers that you need to know, beforehand, before applying. Also, please remember to look at the frequently asked questions. We have worked very hard on creating the questions that are, as it's, it's evident that the most frequent ones that normally we get in other open innovation calls that we've done before. There is a link there, and we are also constantly creating new questions that we receive through the mailbox. So after today, after this session, if there is anything that you wish to ask, use the mailbox. We are constantly looking at it, and you're getting in writing your responses that you need to know in order to apply. Finally, I just want to mention that this resource will also be available in that landing page of the Silver Economy Challenge, so that you can have access to this recording whenever you want, just to make sure that you know exactly how to work on your application and how to move forward. Remember, 11 days, but take your time. Any questions, write to us, and always refer to the landing page, and we'll be happy to engage with you right now through the Q&A. So thank you for your time. Let's go to the Q&A, right?
Thank you, Dora. And thank you very much for all the questions that has been put already on the Q&A part. And we've been answering some of them, maybe complementing some of the answers that we've already made, or answering things that are left. Maybe one of the first question, what exactly does the ecosystem related category mean? Maybe I'll pass the microphone later to Anna so that she can share an example of the project in this category. And ecosystem mainly means we're talking about entrepreneurial ecosystem that includes entrepreneurs, investors, accelerators, and in this topic of silver economy or aging, some public agencies or public sector could form part of that entrepreneurial ecosystem. And Anna, if you hear me over there, do you want to share briefly the project we have? Yeah.
Hi. So we have a project here in Uruguay, which we are working with Endeavor. As you know, Endeavor usually accelerates startups. So their specific focus is on startups that will solve and improve the quality of life of elderly people. So that's the kind of so what we are doing in that project is, first of all, trying to know more about the silver economy. I mean, what the elderly people needs, what kind of things they consume, because we know really we have a shortage of knowledge on what's going on in the region. And then I mean, the typical type of projects where you do call for proposals. We are going to try some corporate venturing, and also we are doing a pilot on how it works to mix different generations, youth and the and elderly people, because probably the younger people will could have like the knowledge on technology, and the elderly we probably have the needs. So that's it, that's going to be something that we are going to try in this specific project. But this could apply to any kind of fund, early stage fund, incubator, accelerator. We have seen many different models. So this is, I mean, we really hope that that we can see more projects like Endeavor, because there's a new ecosystem that needs to be built in Latin America, right? So there are very few at, at least that we know, very few ecosystem institutions focusing on the elderly. So this is a great opportunity.
Thank you, Anna. And maybe another thing, also I might ask support from Anna, talking about the cash contribution, basically about the Kimberly's question. Cash contribution, technically speaking, we're talking about cash contribution. So you do cash contribution to the project account, and we will use that amount to implement the project. Having said that, in some cases, the new and exclusively used for this project, the resources that are new and exclusively used for this project can be considered as cash. But Anna, could you complement a little bit here?
Yes, everything that I mean, what we ask for is that our contribution at least equals what you're going to put on what your investment will be on the project. So everything that you will have to pay for example, I don't know, maybe you need to, I'm going to say something that maybe doesn't apply in this case, but maybe you need someone that has a deep understanding on the silver generation, on how elderly behaves, and part of that cost could be considered in cash. Also, if you maybe you will hire someone to be, I don't know, maybe I'm just guessing, right? I'm just giving examples that probably don't exist. Maybe for I don't know, maybe for the administration of the project, you want someone that you rely on, that you will, I mean, and that could be considered a cash contribution. And also we can consider a cash contribution to everything that you I don't know, maybe someone from your organization will dedicate 100% of their time, but they earn a salary, and that could be considered as part of the of. For instance, if you have someone on communications, right, and a person that you already hire for communications of the organization, and will, I don't know, maybe 50% of his or her time will be dedicated to the project. That's a type of cash of cash. What's very important here is that and those are details that once the project is eligible, we will go through. What's important here that we don't care who's paying, right? So if you have like a partnership with another organization that pays for the counterpart, that's okay for us. So we don't care where the funds come from. So that's I think it's very relevant, because I know maybe, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe some of you could partner with a large company that is interested in exploring this particular area, and you can and it's a co-financing, and that's fine. We welcome even if there are other donors or other multilaterals that are aiming to support, or even government agencies. All that kind of actors are very welcome here.
Thank you, Anna. Addressing to some other questions, there have been some questions about a commitment letter, evidence of the counterpart. This is something you can show as a kind of commitment letter. We don't have any specific format, but we need to know who will be contributing the counterpart, and that can be your own organization or some other organization, your partners, and how much and in kind or cash that is sufficient for that letter. Dora, Monica, if you want to add something here, please go ahead. Otherwise, Dora.
I think we get a lot of questions about a template for that letter in other challenges, but there is none. Just as Masato was saying, just a straightforward letter in which you are committing the resources for the eventual project is enough. A detail on where those resources will be coming from and how much is all that we need. Thank you.
Thank you, Dora. And going to the Rhonda, the question, would IDB prefer the application focus specifically on one particular category, or would it also be appropriate to address multiple categories? I assume that you're talking about the focus areas, and I think it is natural that some of you have an project idea that covers 2 or more areas, and that you can mention in the online pitch section. But at the time of the application, please choose one category that fits most to your proposal. And we do not have a clear preference about only one category or 2 or 3 category. We don't have that preference, but you need to choose one that fits most with the project idea. I hope it answers to your question. And the last one, Rosa Kevia, Estela's question, thank you. Startups in early stage concept eligible to apply? Actually, we've received this question, many of these questions as well. In this case, this is not the main focus of our challenge this time. So we are expecting a bit large amount that might be larger for this kind of startups, which is 300K and higher, or also we are asking for financial statements, and all of these are showing the kind of expectations we have from applicants and from the model. Having said that, if you really believe that you have a great idea, innovative idea, and it can be scaled up and replicable and everything, please try, and we'll evaluate. And another option that you might want to consider is to apply with some other institutions, some partners that have more longer track records or history, and that could be your client, that could be your partners, and that partner will be the principal applicant, and that will try your solution or your model, for example. So that's something you might want to consider. And going to the Amina's question, what does the co-creation process entail? We have a project that is already created but innovative to the country we want to execute it in. I'm not sure if I could understand it perfectly, but okay, Dora, go ahead.
Take that one. Yeah. Yes. So what happens is that, and this is the way that IDB Lab works, this co-creation process, and we understand that in your question that you already have a project being implemented in a country and it's innovative and all, and that's wonderful. So you're applying with that project. You're saying, I would like some financing from you in order to expand or replicate my project, right? So what happens, and it's very clearly detailed in the guidelines document, is that once the applications are selected, we never call them winners because they're just selected. They are selected, and we initiate a process in which we have to obtain final approval from our internal IDB committees. That's the way the bank works, right? So once we have selected those applicants, we start a process in which we have to go through some internal IDB Lab approvals and procedures in order for you to select to be to obtain those funds. So that is the co-creation process that we refer to. And there's also a step in which you will have to sign a legal agreement with the IDB in order to execute, in order to implement and make use of those financial resources. Because as you know, we are a development organization. These are public funds, and we are very, very careful. We have a fiduciary responsibility with those financial resources. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Dora. And we have one left. Again, I'm not sure if I'm understanding 100% this question, so any of my colleagues, please help me, but let me try. Does the question from Rhonda, does the IDB encourage sustainability by encouraging multi-phase year applications to provide predictable continuity of support from inception, development, testing, application, and expansion?
If you want, I can take that question, Masato. If I understand you well, Rhonda, what you think it's probably one project. I mean, I would say that most of our interventions, we finance one part, but they go longer than the project period, right? So I don't know, I can tell you, working in different topics, like let's say women entrepreneurs, right? And obviously there's a time frame for our financing, right? But the project can go forever, right? Because we need more women in Latin America, that we need to build conditions for women in Latin America to become entrepreneurs. And some of them will I don't know, maybe they do very well in their startups. They will need investment afterwards. Maybe some of our VC funds or some of our partners will invest, or even ourselves, if we find they are business attractive enough, we could even do some direct investment. So it depends on the case, I would say. What we are looking forward is, in some cases, in the contingency recovery grant, for example, is that if you get traction on your startup, right, and the number of sales and does reach the goal that you have established, I mean, and the company really it's doing well, we will look forward for some investment opportunities there in the future, right? But this is something that already we don't know, as some of our projects are really happening on after an MVP or where you're trying an MVP, those that have some kind of grants. And in the case of ecosystem projects, sometimes, I mean, we finance the analysis stage, and then sometimes government agencies take over, or it's financed by a project that it's financed by the IDB. I mean, I'm talking about a sovereign guarantee loan. So it depends on the case, but usually, I mean, and depending on the idea, we definitely want sustainability as something, and also scaling as one of the goals that we perceive. So that's part of our evaluation criteria. So you will have to have to be sustainable, and to have at least an idea on the path to scale your project, right?
Great. Thank you, Anna. Hope we've been addressing your questions. We don't have. Okay, thank you, Laurent, for your comment. I guess we are finishing the time as well. So if you have any additional questions or you feel that your question has not been answered well, again, please, as Dora mentioned, please feel free to write to the email address silvaeconomy@iadb.org. Maybe we can put me there. And we hope that you will consider the application. And again, we will select some of you as the as winners, but I think we all are looking at the same direction and talking about the same challenges and opportunities. So we are very happy to have all of you here, and we'll work together in the coming years. So we are very much looking forward to it. And thank you very much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.